Hello and welcome back to episode 17 of the Moto3 career mode. We are getting ever so close to Moto2. I'm trying to knock out the last few episodes and see can I claim the Moto3 championship. Up next on the calendar is Thailand. So you join me for my hot lap in qualifying. Thankfully a dry session. Too many times this year we've been caught with bad weather and it is a dry race. So a full dry weekend that will probably in my top 3 least favourite tracks on the game and in real life. I don't like it. Quite dull, quite boring. But nonetheless, we're off for our qualifying lap. So we come to the end of Sector 1 and we are bang on schedule for Jaume Macia's pole time as we sit. But yeah, it reminds me of Motegi, another on track I just don't like. I'm afraid it's just not something I can do. I don't enjoy it. But funnily enough, I say that on the Moto3 bike in first person, it is not a bad track. It's third person on the GP bike. I actually don't enjoy it, especially this sector here. And we are 0.8 under in sector 2. So we're doing fabulously good so far. We are on to smash his pole position lap. It's quite a rewarding track in first person, like I was saying. I do enjoy it a bit more. It's just not my favourite track on the MotoGP bikes, and we run that massively wide, almost losing a lap for track warning, but we managed to hold on. We lose 3/10, and that mistake in that previous corner definitely cost us. Still half a second under, so we should still bag pole. We are racking up the pole positions, definitely going to get the pole position award at the end of this season. So you come into the last corner, hard, heavy on the brakes. Got stopped a bit early actually, had to release the brake. Set it up, fire to line, get a nice big wheelie, shake it ahead, but we still get pole. 0.386 ahead of Macia. So you join me here on the grid. You can see I have updated my number. I don't think I mentioned it in a previous video. 5 red lights and we are off. A bit of a wheelie off the line. Not a great launch as Gabby Rodrigo, and that's Darren Binder on my outside. I'm in hot. I'm going to have to keep set up. If I turned in there, I think Binder would have wiped me out, so I had to kind of run him wide. Not my best turn one of the year, we can say. Now 8 laps here ahead of us. Just checking if I'm going to be ahead of Sasaki. Poor Sasaki in real life's having a tough time at the moment. Unfortunately, the poor boy was involved with the Jason De Pasquet. That was a massive lunge from Binder, but as I was saying, he was involved in the Pasquet crash, and recently at the Catalunya Grand Prix he had a big crash and there was fears that he might have fractured his skull, but I think it's a mild concussion. And yeah, wishing him best luck in the few races coming up, because I think he's one of those riders that the summer break will do wonders for him. He thinks he just needs a bit of a reset. Getting terribly bad luck at the moment, but he's a very, very popular rider in the paddock and a strong rider with a bright future MotoGP star. I reckon him and Ayagora, I reckon, will be the 2 Japanese riders to take over from Taka Nakagami. Not a fluent Japanese speaker, as you can tell. I get it on the inside curb there, and that loses me big drive through the final sequence of corners. We come down to the last corner very much later than Darren Binder, and I get it stopped. So my pace is quite good around here, even though it's not a track I favour. I still seem pretty good. There's a lot of heavy braking zones, and I'm pretty good on this RC 250, getting it stopped into these tight right-handers. And I have a bike that's a bit slippery in a straight line, so I do hope that I can get onto the back of Binder and maybe get on the podium. If I can keep it on the podium for the rest of the season, I should have the title. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So I can get a podium here, and I think Phillip Island is the next track, one of my favourite tracks, one of the best tracks in the world for bike racing. Get a great run on Binder and the gas cast of Sergio Garcia. Go to the outside. Never going to work. I hold around the outside. Will I get Binder? It looks like we have. Into turn 5. Binder sits me up mid corner. Have a quick look at me inside. I'm not cutting off anyone, but we have a bit of a gap. 3/10 behind. So yeah, we've lost massive time there to Binder. He sat me up. Completely fair move. He had the inside. He had the racing line. So coming now to the final sector of lap 2. Seem to be pulling in Binder a bit. So Red Bull KTM IO duo out front of Jaume Masia and Pedro Acosta. And my other championship rival of Gabby Rodrigo. Once again gaining a good bit of time into this last corner. Trying slightly wide, just pick it up and try and fire it out of the last corner. So we're about 0.7 off the fastest lap at the moment, so that mistake, or that aggressive overtake from Binder, definitely cost me a good half second in that lap. But I did overfuel the bike just a touch, just because I knew I had the long straights turn into turn 1 into turn 2. Or sorry, they actually class as turn 3 because that I think there is turn 2. And up into the actual, it's like the back straight up into turn 4. So there's a lot of flat out time on this track for Moto3 bike. As we are getting into slipstream of Binder, I try the same move now. This time, can I get it around the outside of Garcia into turn 4? It's going to be on me inside. I tip in, just about did it. And can I get stopped here, and can I hold the position? Looks like we've managed to. Just run slightly wide. Is he going to fight it? He's quite close, I reckon. We've managed to hold off, so double overtake around the outside. Ooh, as we touched the curb, massive front end moment there. That could easily have been end of race for me, but luckily we stayed on. And now we're on the hunt, on the prowl of the podium. So we're about a second behind Gabby Rodrigo. I do reckon I have the pace. I'm looking forward to see what my fastest lap will be. Will I take the fastest lap of the race this lap? Because it's been a pretty good lap overall. I've used up a lot of my spare fuel. Hard on the brakes. Into the penultimate, or into the final corner, turn 12. As we fire it out at 1:43.7 and 1:43.1, so it's 0.6 quicker than our leader, Masia. As we come on to half race distance now, and I'm in the lead group, so I'm doing what I need to do. I'm ahead of Binder, ahead of John McPhee, just Rodrigo ahead of me. He's the only championship challenger ahead of me at this moment. So I'm thinking of the bigger picture at the moment, trying to get the title, trying to move up to Moto2 as a Moto3 world champion. Doing it the right way. On a pretty uncompetitive bike all year. Got a few upgrades around Austria, Sachsenring time, and since then we've been by far the quickest man. As we go to the outside of Gabby Rodrigo, can we get the same move done into this fast left hand there? Touch the curb. Thought he'd have a go up the inside, but we've managed to hold it. It's come down now to turn 5. Is he going to go for it? No, he's not. He's not close enough. I gained a good bit of time. Now I'm on the back of the KTM's ahead, so it's a KTM 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Factory KTM's ahead of me, followed by me on a customer KTM. So we're doing pretty well after a poor start. Bit of a team of my season. As soon as I get up on the inside curb, had to sit up, lost a bit of time there. We've managed to recover a bit of fuel as well this lap, so we're doing okay on the fuel. Come into the last corner, fire as I'm in hot, just tagging the back of Pedro Costa. My mistake. He kind of broke early, I broke late, and I just couldn't get a stop. Now Gabby Rodrigo is back on her case. Is he going to go for it into turn 1? No, he's not, thankfully. Now I have a good bit of fuel saved up once again. So quite a big gap at the moment to Acosta, I'm afraid. Just under a second. So on lap 5 here, I'm going to have to work hard to make up the gap. And there seems to be a similar gap up to Masia. So if I am to win this race, I'm going to need some solid laps to finish out the race. We're looking good at the moment for fuel. But like I keep mentioning, it's about the bigger picture. We're ahead of all our championship rivals. We just need to keep it rubber side down and bring it to the finish. Even if we finish third, it's a good result for the championship. The championship gap will get bigger to my rivals. But I do probably want to push for the win. I do think I can catch Acosta. On this lap he's kind of been able to hold off my challenges. I haven't gained any time. I've actually lost time to him, but we shall see. Come down into the last corner. Once again, much better on the brakes, taking nearly all the time. Took half a 6/10 even in one corner. So could we get him into turn 3 possibly? Get in his slipstream here. Not going to use power 3 yet. Just want to save the fuel up. He goes a bit defensive. I brake quite deep. Just about get past him. Or get closer to him, sorry, not past him. Get a great run on him. Am I going to try my signature move around the outside into turn 4? I tip it and he's not there. He's very close, but we managed to get it done. Into P2. Now it's chase down Messia. We have about 2.5 laps to do it. He's 1.2 seconds up the road. He's had great pace all race so far. So it's going to be quite difficult to catch him, let alone pass him. Oh, it's even massive. The rear end comes right around on the curb there and sits me right up. So, need to be, like I said, we need to be careful. We can't afford a 0. Currently sitting on 20 points. And 20 points will be brilliant for my championship. It will put me really as title favourite, ever more so than now. Once again, into the last corner, we gain a serious amount of time. So we gain 0.4 of a second there as I set the new fast lap of 42.9. So we're motoring away. And we are eating ever so slightly into his lead. As Acosta's right on my tail, I move to the right to break the slipstream. Now as we come into turn 3, he's still over a second up the road. It's going to take a lot to get near him, as I actually run it quite deep. My chances of winning this are slipping through my fingers. Threw it into power 3 just for a second, just to give me a better run up the hill. Now we come into one of the best corners on the track, turn 4. Back 1 gear. Very, very fast, and actually the KTM goes sideways into turn 5. Not the fastest way back in a Moto 3 bike in. These bikes much better when their wheels in line. But this has been a pretty solid lap so far for me. The gap's down to 0.7. It's this sector here, these double righting in the final sector, bar the last corner. I reckon I lose all my time to the eye, but we are closing. It's just there. I can just about see maybe a dive bomb late in the last lap. We have enough fuel to burn off, so it's under 7/10. What can I do into the last corner? I make up a lot of time and I get it stopped. Maybe that could be the move that could win me this race. As we said, another very competitive lap time. So it's half a second. He goes slightly defensive. I'm full attack now. Ooh, as I touched the inside curb, that could have been end of race. Just slightly out of my reach. Now I need to make sure I do have enough fuel to cross the line. I did run out of fuel as we crossed the line in Motegi. Thankfully I didn't lose any positions, but we made up loads of time into that heavy braking zone out of turn 3. Just trying to get a bit of a slipstream, get onto the back of him. move over. I'm not going to be close enough this time to do that move around the outside. He blocks it off anyway. I actually turn it slightly toward onto the curb. We're getting right up to the back wheel of him. We're close enough. I feel a last corner dive bomb is where it's going to happen. I don't feel like I'm good enough through this sector here or the last few corners as I get on the inside curb, losing the front, running off track and getting a track limits warning. That was real life. I'd actually have to give the position to Pedro Acosta, but thankfully they just give you a warning for it in the game. And it has ever so slightly given Messia a small gap to me. It was 0.4, 0.3. It's going to be a late lunge if I'm going to go for it the last corner. I'm lining him up, getting slipstream. Going to have to go for it. Braking hard. He's gone defensive. I leave the brakes off up the inside. And I run it wide. I couldn't get a stop. The front was pushing. I take my second place. I was so close. The front just pushed and pushed and pushed when I tipped in. I couldn't get it stopped. I had to sit it up and just run it wide. Thankfully, lead with P2 and my championship challenge is up to 30 points strong. And here we are on the podium. So I hope you enjoyed today's video of Thailand Grand Prix. Up next is Phillip Island, one of the greatest tracks in the world, like I said in the video already. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button below and I shall see you in a video not so far away.